Good morning, guys. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. We'll wait for 1 more minute and then we'll start. In between, I will share my presentation with you guys. Today's lecture is very important because today we are actually starting with the design. Okay, so I'm sharing my presentation with you guys. Uh, Today's lecture will be mainly for will do the basics of design to determine how we will determine the stresses. We'll see that and basic stresses and what are the main equations we are going to use that we will see in today's lecture. So today's lecture is very critical because if somehow you have forgot some basics of from the strength of material, we'll try to have a, some kind of we'll try to capture some of it, have some revision of it. Okay. So yeah, we have passed 2 minutes, so we will start with the lecture. Till last lecture, we have finished all the basics. What are the materials required? What is basically different types of design materials required? Then mechanical properties, fits, limits, and then like lastly we had talked about preferred numbers. Okay, so today we will actually start with the basic stresses. Okay. As I tell in every lecture, if you guys are not able to hear me, kindly put that in the chat. Okay. Because I'll be keeping watch on the chat all the time. So if any issues are there, any problems are there, just put that in chat because I am muting everyone. So kindly do that. Almost all of you are mute, except few who are recently joined. So okay, let's talk about some basic stresses. Now this is you guys are supposed to know these kind of stresses, because these are the building blocks. With this only we will get to go into more details of our design of machine elements. So to do the design, we need to know what are the stresses and how the stresses affect for the design. Okay. At the end of this lecture, if time permits, we will see the design cycle. What is the cycle which we are going to repeat for each and every design? But before that, we have to go through the stresses. So you guys know very much about these stresses, some basic stresses. We are not going into too advanced at this point. I don't want to get you guys, to get confused at the very start. But basic stresses, you guys know what is stress is load upon area. Basically, whatever load you are putting on any element or any material, the area which is taking that load is basically holding that load. So basically, that load upon area on which you are putting that load, that is your stress. That's your direct stress. Okay. And what is strain? Now, strain is, you guys know very well, it is basically elongation. If suppose you have 10 centimeter of rod and after putting load it became 10.2 centimeter or 102 millimeter, then your 2 millimeter or zero point 0.2 centimeter is your extension, is delta L, change in the length. Okay. And if you put that 2 mm divided by 102 original length 100, that becomes your direct strain. So your 0.0002 will become your 0.002 is your direct strain. So strain is change in length upon original length, delta L upon L. Okay. And then modulus of elasticity is stress upon stress, stress upon strain. Direct stress, whatever you are having right now, and upon direct strain is your modulus of elasticity. Stress we saw F upon A, like load upon area is your stress, and your strain is change in length upon L. So it's basically PL upon A delta L. or that becomes your E. So if I take delta L on the right side, from the right side to the left side in this equation, then the delta L become PL upon AE. So this is the formula which you have to remember. I will have that formula in the next slide also. Delta L, change in the length is equal to PL upon AE, where P is load, L is original length, A is area of cross section, and delta L, E is modulus of elasticity. This E is fixed for one material. Okay. So this is the basic equation of the stress. So you should know like what kind of stresses are. This is one stress. Then there is another stress called shear stress. Okay, let's just try to go next slide. Okay, here you see I have put in this. There are the rod is having kind of three types of load. First is tensile load. We are trying to pull it apart. That is tensile load. Second is compressive. We are trying to push together. We are trying to compress it. That load is compressive. So tensile and compressive load are same with opposite direction. And shear force means is basically you are trying to cut something. Now, what is shear force? When you try to cut an apple with your knife, you are shearing it. You are shear. You are shearing means you are cutting it. Okay. It is not pulling or pushing force. It is cutting force. Okay. So shear force here, if you see a diagram here, normal strain or the tensile or compressive strain is basically change in the dimension or change in the length. But in the shear, you are trying to cut it. So you are trying to shift it, which is change the or move the top portion from the bottom with some angle. That angle is called as basically shear strain. Okay. So like here also the stress is sigma is equal to P upon A, strain is delta L upon L. Then as I said, delta L is equal to this formula. We have to remember delta L is equal to PL upon A. Delta L is change in the length. P is load, L is length, original length, A is your area cross section is modulus of elasticity. Okay. Now area cross section can be anything. Let's say today we will be going through some basic stresses. Now we have to also see what are the stresses because of bending, what are stresses because of twisting and all that. But this is basic stress. Okay, so here cross section area can be anything. It can be a square, rectangle, circular, hollow. It can be anything. So whatever it is, you have to just divide this your load with the cross section. You will get the stress. Okay. Okay, again coming back to the previous this thing, shear stress. Now shear stress is equal to force upon area under this. So it's basically similar thing, but here the area will be different. For the shear stress, area will be different. And modulus of rigidity is shear stress upon shear strain. So we'll talk about it. So modulus of rigidity is important thing which we will be using in throughout our which is symbol is G. It is shear stress upon shear strain. So for direct stress and direct strain is called modulus of elasticity. Similarly, modulus of rigidity. How rigid? What is the with what kind of strength it is avoiding the cut? That is why we call this modulus of rigidity. How rigid it is. So modulus of rigidity is basically modulus is stress upon strain, but for rigidity is a shear stress upon shear strain. Okay. So these are some basic stresses we have seen now. Okay, sigma we have seen. First part, direct stress. It may be compressive or tensile, or it may be shear stress. Okay. Now, before going to the next stress, that is bending stress, because we have to go through bending stress and then we have to go through torsional stress. These are the stresses we know before doing any kind of design. But before doing that, I hope I have mentioned in yesterday in WhatsApp that you guys have pen and paper with you. Okay. So I am hoping that all of you are having pen, paper, calculator with you, because here onwards, our lecture will not be, it will be meaningless if you don't do actual, what you can say, problem solving. So I want everyone to be on the same page, because in design, basically every design, whatever design we are going to do, I will explain you the procedure for the design, and then you will give some I will give some problem, then you will do the design for that. Means you will finalize the dimension of your element for a given load or given stresses. Okay. So basically one lecture will be there for the procedure, and then maybe a couple of lectures will be will be doing the actual design. Okay. So I want all of you to have pen, paper and calculator with you when we are, we are engaging in today, this lecture. For today's lecture, you don't have it, that's okay, but it will be better because, we'll be taking couple of problems today. So I have explained you what is basic stress. So assume that you have a rod at your home on a ceiling. We have a generally we have a hook where we put fan. So in the place of that fan, I am putting a rod, and on that rod I am putting a kind of a big bag, like say boxing bag I am putting. Okay, so I want to design that particular rod. Okay, so for that I will give you guys what you can say, what is the load or what is the weight of that bag, and then you have to tell me what will be the design of the rod. Okay, can you guys do that? You can reply me in the chat, and as I said, we have to do this session with all this problem solving and all that, because you guys are joining and then you guys are you're leaving and doing your stuff. I don't want that. I want everybody to participate, because if this effort has to be our like a group activity. It's not. So just reply me in the chat, whoever is still in the lecture, who have joined and still listening to me. I am giving you one problem now, I want you guys to solve it. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. Abhishek has a question. Yes. Okay, I will give you one problem now. See, basically, we have understood what is basic stress. So I want you to do a design of what you can say, a small bar. So now I am giving you a bag of say what is generally weight, say 100 kg. Okay, 100 kg bag I am giving you, 100 kg bag of the boxing bag. Okay, so you have to design the bag for that 100 kg. This thing, what is the wire or what is the rod diameter you will be having? So for that I am giving you the tensile SUT of this rod is 400 Newton per meter square. SYT for the steel is 400 Newton per meter square. Okay. So now tell me what can be the diameter using simple for what is SYT? Is basically strength of your this thing. SYT strength of your steel, like rod or whatever rod it is. It is 400 Newton per mm square. So I am giving you this sigma as 400 Newton per mm square. Okay, you guys are following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so basically what is the stress your rod can take is 400 Newton per mm square. Means 1 mm square of your rod, if you take 1 mm square wire, it can take 400 Newton weight. It's as simple as that. Okay, now what is the size of the bag or what is the weight of the bag is 100 kg I told you. So you multiply that with 9.8, so you'll get 980 Newton. Okay, you guys okay? 1 kilogram is basically 9.81 Newton. So your bag is 100 kg. So it is 980 Newton. So now I know the load, right? I know P. I know stress is 400 Newton per mm square, and I need to find out area. So area is pi by 4 d square. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have to basically now find out D and tell me what is the diameter of this rod. I will also do along with you guys. See this. this is the way our now these lectures will be there in the future. Okay, because no, we have no option but to do like this. So like I gave you is 400 Newton per mm square is your sigma, is SYT. Then P is basically 980 Newton, and we have to find out now sigma is equal to P upon A. So A is equal to P upon sigma, or pi by 4 d
One.
square is equal to P is your 980 upon sigma is 400. Okay, so it's basically d square is equal to 980 upon 400 into 4 by pi. Okay, are you guys getting any answer? 980 divided by 400 into 4 divided by pi. What you guys are getting?
1.77 mm.
1.77. Let me do that. 1.7 is correct. So D is 1.77. What now? What is the unit of this D?
Mm.
Mm. Basically, why? Because we took P in Newton, right? We took load in Newton. Sigma is Newton per mm square. So area will be in mm square. So from the area we are getting the diameter. So diameter will be in mm. Are you getting it? We have to convert that all this what you can say like measurements you are having to one single unit. It may be Newton or whatever it is. If it is in centimeter, we have to convert to that to mm. So here we got the strength in what you can say, we strength was given in Newton per mm square. That's why we got the answer in Newton. So basically say it is you will need for 100 kg bag or 980 Newton bag, you will need a wire. We cannot call it a rod because it is very small, 1.7 or say 2 mm. See 2 mm is very thin, right? So your this 2 mm wire can take a load of your 100 kg bag. Are you getting it? Now what is the actual design? See, this is very plain, simple thing. I have to give you a clear picture of this thing. Can you just hold on for 1 minute? I'm getting a call. Let me just see. Okay, sorry guys. So basically what is the diameter we got is 1.77. So basically it's very thin, 2 mm wire. So 2 mm wire will take a load of our this thing. Okay, chat. Okay, D is fine. So Simran has got 1.77. I hope everyone, all of you have got 1.77. Here onwards for my lecture, please, like this we will do the lectures. I will have some problems written on the paper also for the design. But I want to give you basically what is the design or how the design will be done. You have a bag. Now you want to know what is the wire or what is the rod, size of the rod I will be having for this thing, for taking this load. Now, but you know what is the problem with our current design? The problem with our, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So then
sir.
I muted it and then I
Yes, sir.
unmuted, so I was not very sure. So the problem with our design is that we haven't taken any precaution of factor of safety, right? Because
Yes, sir.
for whatever load we have given 100 kg, we have designed the wire. So if we take a 2 mm wire, we are having a very small factor of safety because from 1.77 we went to 2 mm. Okay, so I say I want to be, you know, twice safe or thrice safe, 3 times safe. Means even though instead of the bag, my brother, is trying to hang, keep hold of that bag and just he's playing with it. Still, it should not fail. because if you are putting something else on this bag, then your wire will fail, because it is not designed for more than 100 kg. So I want to put a factor of safety, say 3. Now can you tell me what will be the answer, or what will be the difference in the answer, or how the answer will change? See, now what is the sigma you took? You took sigma of 400 Newton per mm square. Is that right? Because that was the SYT given, correct? So what we will do, we will divide that 400, say like say factor of safety, say I am asking you for 4, by 4. Now this SYT upon factor of safety will become your sigma T. Are you getting my point? Now what is sigma T? So your working stress or design stress is your ultimate stress or yield stress given divided by factor of safety. Are you getting it? Hello, you guys can.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So basically, tensile strength or your sigma T for your design, you will be taking whatever SYT or SUT given divided by factor of safety. Okay, because that factor of safety will be, as I said in the previous lecture, it will be different for different materials. So I'm asking you to put a factor of safety of 4. So now sigma T, because initially we are not discussing about factor of safety, so we took directly. But now my sigma T will be 400 upon 4 factor of safety. It is now 100 Newton per mm square. So now I am saying my rod can take 100 Newton per mm square. Initially it was taking 400. But because of factor of safety, I am saying it cannot take more than 100 Newton per mm square. Are you getting it? Now again I will do the design. Again my area will be pi by 4, d square will be 980 upon, instead of 400 it will be 100. Okay. So my d square will be 980 upon 100 into 4 by pi. Okay. Just let me do it again and see what is the difference we are getting. You can also do it. What I did, I simply changed as sigma T from 400 to 100. So 980 divided by 100 into 4 by pi, and root of that is 3.53. So D is now 3.53. So what is the diameter you got? Diameter you got is 3.5. So I will say I will have a diameter rod of diameter 4 mm. Now instead of wire I can call it as a rod, because now it is 4 mm thickness. Are you getting my point? But with this, what is the extra precaution you did? See, this example explains you the whole process of design. Now what I have considered while doing this, I have considered a factor of safety of 4. That means my design is 4 times safe. So instead of 100 kg bag, if somehow you put a bag of say 200 kg, still your design will not fail. If you put a bag of 300 kg, still it will not fail. 400 kg, still it will not fail, because instead of 3.53, I took 4 mm rod. Okay. So because it is more than that, so even for 400 kg bag, it will not fail. If it goes beyond 400 kg, for 450 or something, then it will fail because of the tensile failure. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The procedure we will be doing for all kind of design. It's very simple design I took, a very simple example we took, but this thing will be true for any kind of design. We'll take SYT or what is the strength of this material, SYT, SUT, whatever it is, divided with factor of safety, you will give it a sigma T. Use that for your design. You will know the load, you will know, and you can find out the areas, or you can find out the dimensions. Okay. So this is the design procedure for any design. Okay. But with factor of safety, we are doing design. So like for your bike gear, or your bike, say your rod on which your wheel mounts. Okay. That rod is designed for 2%, because your bike is supposed to have 2%. Who is this 0S9FDU? Okay, I want you guys to, because last few lectures, many mischievous thing has happened in Sandanshu sir's lecture, and then yesterday also in Manis's lecture some disturbance was there. So I want you guys to put proper names when you are joining. because if someone is misbehaving, then I'm going to throw that guy out of the lecture, because here we don't know who is what. Okay, so this is 0s9fdu. Who is you guy? The person latest join. Who are you? 0s9fdu, because I am seeing the names of all other people, but I don't know who is this person. Okay, hopefully we are not having will not have any kind of disturbance. But if it is there, then we'll see. But I request you, do not do any kind of misbehavior, because then we'll take strict action. I'm muting you guys. I will also mute the chat also, if something bad goes in our lecture, and then you have there will be no point of communication. Okay, so let's continue our lecture. So I explained by taking a simple example. I explained you what is the design procedure. This is exactly same procedure. Will only thing will be load will be more complicated, stresses will be complicated, and then you have to find out the dimension. But the process is still the same. Take the ultimate stress divide with factor of safety. You will get the sigma t. Multiply that with zero point 0.5, you will get allowable shear stress. That we'll talk more about when we in the coming lecture. See, your shear stress, allowable shear stress is half of your sigma t. Tau is zero point 0.5 of sigma t. We'll talk about it. But you can find out, once you know the SYT or SUT, you can find out allowable stresses, shear stress, tensile stress. You can find those. Once you know the stresses and you know the load, you can find out the dimension. This is the process of the design. You guys are clear now? Okay, I hope you guys are clear, because if you have any kind of doubt, yes, Abhishek Tikawde has raised the hand. Okay, you can ask me, Abhishek. Where is Abhishek? Yeah, you can ask me, Abhishek, what is the question you have? You can unmute and ask me question if you have any doubt. Or you can put in chat also. If you have any doubt, you can put in chat also. If it is a small doubt, you can put in chat also. Abhishek, you have some query? Oh, it was by mistake. That's fine, no problem. But if you have any kind of doubt, kindly ask me, raise your hand or put it in the chat. Am I keeping chat open? Okay. So no problem. So I hope you guys are clear now. Because I explained it twice. What is the simple procedure for design of any simple component? Now we will see two important stresses, which we will use in our design for because see, this is simple stress. For every design, we will have this simple stress calculated, simple elongation or simple compression or simple shear. But in your actual design, there will be more complicated stresses called as bending stresses and torsional stresses. Now, what is bending stress? Now, say if you are a bench, we can take a simple example of bench. When you are sitting on a bench at the center or anywhere, your bench will bend. Okay, it will have a curved shape. So when it is having a curved shape, your top fibers of your bench will be having what kind of stress? Compressive stresses, because it is getting compressed, and your bottom fibers will be having tensile stress. Okay, and in somewhere in between there will be a neutral axis will be there. There will be no stresses. Okay, so for this kind of stresses, because it is not direct stress. Direct stress is your load upon the whole area of your whole bench. That is your direct stress. Load upon area means your whatever length and width of your bench is that is your direct stress. But bending stresses will be different. Now your bench will not fail by, will never fail by direct stress, because your area is very high of the direct stress. But your bending stress means it will fail because of the bending. It will have a curve shape. It will have, if you put more and more load, if you two people are sitting, three people are sitting, then it will have, ultimately it will bend and it will break. So that stress is called as bending stress. And how that stress is calculated is using the bending equation. We have seen that. What is bending equation? Bending means in SOM there was a separate chapter for this. Like say this is the example I have taken the diagram. So if you take a curved beam, okay, top portion will be compressed, lower portion will be stretched or under tension. Stresses will be like this. There, on the top there will be compressive stresses, on the bottom there will be tensile stresses. So topmost fiber will be having maximum stress, and bottommost will be having maximum tensile stress. And that the stress at the topmost or bottommost fiber is calculated by using this equation. Sigma B is bending stress, is basically my upon I, where m is moment of m is moment on this bending moment they're putting on the on the beam. I is moment of inertia, and y is your distance. Miss the how far y for the topmost fiber y will be maximum, and your miss topmost fiber will be having maximum bending stress. So this bending stress is zero at the neutral axis where y is zero. The more y you are having, it will be having more sigma b, because your y will be go up. Your moment will remain fixed. Your moment of inertia will remain fixed. As your y moves, your sigma. So that's why it is having a straight line or triangular shape. Are you getting it? So this is how your bending stress will be calculated. I have explained it with high speed, because we don't have much time. But this equation, remember it by heart. Both equation, torsion and bending equation. Sigma b upon y is equal to m upon I. It's basically m upon I is equal to sigma b upon y is equal to E upon R. Keep this equation in mind all the time, this and torsion equation. M upon I is equal to sigma b upon y is equal to E upon R, where m is your bending moment. Now what is bending moment? How to, we'll see that in we'll take the lecture. You must have seen that in SOM also. But m is bending moment, I is moment of inertia of your shape, then sigma b is bending stress, and y is the distance from the neutral axis. M upon y, I is equal to sigma b upon y is equal to E upon R. E is the modulus of, is your Young's modulus, and R is your radius of the curvature. Okay. So basically using this equation, we can find out the bending stresses. And then again, our process will be same. Once we know the bending stress, sigma b is basically we'll know from the properties, we'll know the bending moment, and we know the y. Then we can find out the I, or we can find out the dimension. So this is the way we will be using the bending stress. We can find out the dimension. We know sigma b from the properties. Bending moment will be known. Y will be the maximum distance of the topmost fiber will be known, and then we can find out using I formula. We can find out the dimension. Like moment of inertia for different shapes, different moments of inertia are there, which are mentioned in the slide. For circular shape, it is pi by 64 d raised to 4. Okay, so diameter raised to 4 into pi by 64, that is the moment of inertia for a circular shape. For rectangular section, if d is the depth and b is width, then it's bd cube by 12. Okay, so remember for I, for rectangular section is bd cube by 12, and if it is square section, your b and d will become same, so it ultimately becomes b into b cube, or b raised to 4, or here it is says if a is the dimension, a raised to 4 by 12. So for rectangle, remember this important too, is for rectangular section, moment of inertia is given by bd cube by 12, and for circular section it is given by pi by 64 d raised to 4. Okay, so these are the moment of inertia. So once we know this, then we can find out d, and we can find out the dimension. Okay, so this is how you will use the bending stresses to do the design. I will again explain it in tomorrow's lecture, just in quickly, because this is very important to understand these equations and how we will use it in our design. Now next is torsion equation. So we have gone through the bending. Now torsional stresses. So for that we use the similar kind of equation is there. So there was m upon I. Remember, so equations are almost same. M upon I in the bending equation, it is m, instead of there was bending moment, here T is your torque or twisting moment. T instead of J, there was I, moment of inertia. Here J will be polar moment of inertia. So it is same thing. M upon I, T upon J. They are almost same. M upon I is equal to sigma b upon y is equal to E upon R. Now sigma b upon y, sigma b is what? Bending moment. Here we will have shear stress. Because of twisting, it will fail because of shear. And there was y, here it will be R. R means distance from the center. See, R is the distance from, because at the center there will be no stress, and the topmost fiber will be having maximum stress. So capital R means stress will be maximum at the edge, or at the outmost diameter. Okay, so it is same equation. M upon I is equal to sigma b upon y. T upon J is equal to tau upon R. Okay, you guys are you must be following. If you guys don't follow that, just keep their similarity. Bending equation, M upon I is equal to sigma b upon y. Torsion equation, Instead of M, bending moment, there will be twisting moment torque. Instead of moment of inertia, there will be polar moment of inertia J. Instead of sigma B, there is bending stress. Here it will be shear stress tau. And then instead of Y, distance from the neutral axis to the topmost fiber, here it will be R. So T upon J is equal to tau upon R. There is one more thing, it's called G theta by L. This equation you have to remember. G theta by L. L is your length, theta is angle of twist, and G is modulus of rigidity. Okay. So now T upon J is equal to G theta by L is equal to tau by R. This equation you have to remember as I said in the bending equation. Bending equation is M upon I is equal to sigma B upon Y is equal to E upon R. Similarly here T upon J is equal to G theta by L is equal to tau by R. Okay. Here T, as I said, is twisting moment, which we will know from the, if it is a shaft, we know from the what is the torque it is having. From that we will know the twisting moment. J is polar moment of inertia. We use there is a theorem, parallel theorems or perpendicular theorem for moment of inertia. So using perpendicular theorem, if you add two perpendicular moment of inertia, you will get the polar moment of inertia. So pi by 64 d raised to 4 plus pi by 64 d raised to 4. These two moment of inertia will get pi by 32 d raised to 4. So polar moment of inertia for circular shape is pi by 32 d raised to 4. It is twice of moment of inertia. What we saw Ixx or Iyy in previous slide. The polar moment of inertia for a circular shape is pi by 32 d raised to 4. Okay. So we know now twisting moment or torque. We know J. Shear stress we know from this properties. As I said, SYT we know divided by factor of safety. You will get sigma T. Multiply that with 0.5. You will get tau. And now we can find out the diameter. See, this is the design we are going to use in the design of the shaft. There will be nothing hi-fi. Little bit complication will be there, but the procedure will be same. Means we know the torque on the shaft, we know the polar moment of inertia. From that, we can find out the diameter of the shaft. Okay, so T upon J, tau upon R. If we know the shear stress, if we know the torque, we can find out the dimension of the shaft. So formula for tau, shear stress is equal to torque into radius upon J. Here torque is twisting moment, R and J. J is basically pi by 32 d raised to 4. R is d by 2. So using this formula, we can find out the radius of the shaft. So this is the procedure for design of the shaft, and this is the same procedure we are going to use in the design of the shaft. Okay. So you just remember these two equations by heart. Bending equation M upon I is equal to sigma B upon Y is equal to E upon R. And for torsion equation, T upon J is equal to G theta by L is equal to tau by R. Just these two equations are very, very critical, and you have to keep those in mind all the time. Because the design we did was we took a little bit more time for that. So I will not be able to finish the minimum and maximum principal stresses, but I want to do it, and we will do it in next lecture. Principal stresses, principal shear stress, what is how power, and then the basic procedure of machine design. Once we do that, then we will go with the design. See, the thing is that I am spending too much time on the basics, which is very crucial. Okay, it is very much important that we are spend this much time, because once we know this only, then only you can what you can say. You will not be very much confident until and unless you are confident about the basics. So I took that example of back. Keep that in mind all the time, because it will help you quite a lot while doing the design. Okay, so I think we will conclude today's lecture with this. And in tomorrow's lecture, we'll see. I will again do the revision of bending equation, torsion equation, and then we'll go ahead with the principal stresses, and then we'll start with the actual design. Okay.